Professor A C Grayling. Thank you very much. I'd just like to remind you of what, of course, you all know, but it's important that these things be repeated and repeated. Why freedom of expression matters. It matters because if we didn't have it, we wouldn't have any of our other civil liberties. We couldn't have education. We couldn't have a democratic process. We couldn't have a due process of law. We couldn't have artistic expression and development. If you think about it, supposing we weren't allowed to speak freely, how could we have a democratic process? How could people put forward ideas for government and have them debated and challenged? How could there be a due process of law if people couldn't lay claim to their rights and privileges, or couldn't defend themselves if they were accused? How could we have an education system if ideas weren't freely debatable, if people couldn't put forward all sorts of ideas, even stupid ones, and have them challenged and discussed? How could we have an artistic dimension to our civilization unless people could experiment and try everything, unless they could feel free to express themselves? Freedom of expression, notice, includes dancing, includes painting, includes singing, it includes doing all sorts of things. Speech is a very, very wide concept, and if we try to shut it down, if we try to limit it, in the end we all suffer. Freedom of expression is the great source of health in a community, in a society, and without it we wither and we die. So we have to defend it at every possible opportunity. Every time it's threatened, we have to stand up and we have to say it matters, it's crucial, it's central. Without it, we don't have anything else worth having. I think that there is one and one only area where you can say we would rather people didn't say those sorts of things, and that is hate speech against somebody's age, somebody's disability if they've got one, somebody's sex, somebody's sexuality, and somebody's ethnicity. Those are all things that people cannot choose. You can choose your sex these days, it's a bit pricey and long-winded business, but generally speaking, you can't choose those things. And so hate speech, discriminatory speech against those things, I think we have a case there. But in no other circumstance is it at all defensible to say, I believe so-and-so, therefore you are not allowed to say that. I believe so-and-so, so you can't do that. That's not acceptable. And we have to remember that if we do have genuine freedom of expression, things are going to be said which are hard, which are tough, which are offensive, which are difficult to hear. But the great response to bad use of free speech is better use of free speech in response. And that's how we have to go. At every opportunity, we must defend the right to offend, we must defend the right to say, to speak, to get information, to challenge, to argue, to debate, and to tell people what we think. Keep at it.